Not Yet. A short story by PJ Leonard. I walked through the darkness. A darkness I had never known, yet I knew the way forward. Without fear or reluctance, I walked. I had no sense of direction. I told myself that I walked in a straight line, but I couldn't be sure. For all I knew, I could have been walking in one large circle. Still, even if that had been true, it felt right. The only sense of progress I felt was by the ground under my feet. I could feel it sloping ever so gently downward. And with my slow descent, the air around me cooled. I could feel the fine film of sweat on my hands turn chill, and a shiver ran up my arms. It felt nice. A shiver up my spine. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled. An acrid, clinical smell. I spun around. Silence. Darkness. But I knew. I was not alone here. Not anymore. Something followed me. My breath caught in my throat. The air was sharp now, and it stung. I wheeled around again. Which way was I going? Where had I come from? I had lost my bearings, lost my confidence. My legs stiffened. Now I wanted nothing more than to just stay there, to not move, as if I were holding on to the mast of a sunken ship jutting out of an endless, churning ocean. At least I knew that this place was safe. All around me, I sensed danger, the unknown. Footsteps, fast, coming towards me. Move, move now. My knees clicked as I forced myself to launch away from my little sanctuary. I felt the air churn behind me. Whoever was there, they were right behind me. I ran. The icy specks of sweat on my brow melted, and a sickly warmth soon drenched me. My breathing became ragged as I blundered forward. How did I get tired so quickly? What's wrong with me? Something whistled past my ear. I gasped and staggered to the floor. I threw my hands out to catch myself, but I was too slow. I grazed my wrists. What had that been? A bullet? An arrow? A sword? I clasped a hand to my ear. The skin was soft and unbroken. No damage. I scarcely had time to sigh before it was upon me. Someone, something, stepped forth from the darkness. Whatever it was, I couldn't make out, but it wore a dim cloak that nonetheless seemed to shine through the enveloping dark on all sides. Not yet. A deep, unknown, animal fear overwhelmed me. I let out a silent scream. The thing swept towards me. A beeping sound echoed around me as it drew near, close and yet so very far, strange and yet familiar. Something glinted from between the flapping corners of cloth. A dagger. A spasm shot through my legs and I launched up. My limbs willed me to run again, to put as much distance as I could between myself and it. That thing. Sweet darkness swallowed me again, bringing cold air with it. The bleeping noise faded away. Yes, This was nice. Much better than that thing. Why was it chasing me? Why did it mean me harm? I had nothing to give. I had done it no wrong. Why couldn't it just leave me in peace with my darkness? And yet, as I asked these questions, I slowed my run. Doubt crept into my mind. How could I be so sure? Maybe I'd met this thing before. After all, the beeping that had followed the thing around seemed familiar as well. If I could remember... I tried to cast my memory back beyond my time in this darkness. There must have been a time before it, surely. But nothing came to me. Like taking a step forward and feeling that plunging sensation in the stomach as the foot hits nothing, not solid ground, but falls through the air. I gasped at a gaping nothingness and my head. I frowned. No, that wasn't right, not right at all. Where had my memory gone? I grasped again, harder, squeezing my mind. Hot, liquid pain flashed over me. A scream escaped me, real this time. Flashes of blood whipped before me. Before I knew it, I was lying on the floor. For a flash, I remembered how I came to be in this place. But before I could seize it and analyze it, it was gone again. I blinked, the echoes of red splashes tattooed to my eyelids. Not yet. I sat up. That voice again. That thing didn't give up easily. What did it want from me? Like sun rays breaking through clouds, my fear rolled back for a moment to let curiosity through. But then I remembered that glint of a dagger coiled within a cloak, and my fear washed over me again. I longed to shout out, to yell, "Leave me alone!" But my voice disappeared along with my memories. It was as if my scream from before had escaped with my vocal cords as well. A hand on my shoulder, a sickly, hot hand, squeezing me tight. You. I lunged an elbow behind me, felt it connect with something soft. The thing grunted. I didn't dare look back. I ran again, changing direction now and then, hoping to shake the thing off. But I could hear it hounding me, chasing me down. I couldn't keep this up forever. My legs ached, my chest felt tight, and I longed to stop and rest. For once, the never-ending darkness around me didn't feel so comforting. It frustrated me. Why couldn't I find any walls, or nooks or crannies to hide in? As if in answer, the darkness parted, peeling back before my feet. I slid to a halt and looked out at the sight revealed before me. The ground stretched out ahead, and it looked different somehow. Shining and glittering, patches of light and dark rolling by in smooth bands. Somehow, I knew that stepping on that ground wouldn't be the same as the normal ground I stood on now. And yet, I'd seen one of these things before. What was the word for it? A river. Yes, that was it. I sensed, rather than heard, the thing standing behind me. I looked over my shoulder. There it was, the mass of dimly glowing cloth flapping in a non-existent breeze. The shining dagger flashed at its side. I stepped towards the river. Don't! With one foot in the river, I felt a wonderful bliss overcome me. It wasn't like the comfort of the darkness at all. No, this was different, stronger, better. I could feel my whole being unravel, loosen, spread out, as if melting into the river. I could feel all of my fears and worries beginning to evaporate. I wanted to go deeper into the river, to submerge myself in it entirely, and let it wash me away. "Don't leave me." Those words. There was something about them that slammed into me like a cold, hard rock. I'd heard them before, definitely. But where? I felt myself pull back together, my thoughts and questions crystallizing clearer than ever. Yes, those words had been a memory. Someone had said them to me before I came here, before I looked down. Now that the darkness had pulled back, I could see myself for the first time. Except I couldn't. I had no body. No arms, legs, chest. Nothing. For all I could tell, I was just a pair of eyes floating on the edge of the river. But had I not elbowed that thing away, injured my hands as I fell, felt sweat on my back and hairs on my neck? Even now, I could feel myself moving my legs and arms, but I couldn't see them. "He's responding. This is very promising." I looked at the thing. That voice was different this time, though it definitely came from within that pile of rags. It took a step forward. I took a step back. The thing shuffled on the spot, and from within its robes uncurled a long arm. It reached out to me with a hand that seemed to glisten with sweat. "Your time," it said. "It is not yet." My tongue came unstuck at last. "I'm scared. I don't understand." "I know," said the thing. Its voice cracked. It sounded emotional. "You have been very strong so far, very brave, but now you must do the hardest thing. You have to come back." That hot pain pulsed through my head again, and I gasped. Beep, beep, beep. There was that beeping again, louder and clearer than ever before, in perfect rhythm to my heartbeat. I looked back to the river. It called to me, tugging at me. It would be so easy, so nice. The pain would disappear too, along with everything else. Not yet. I turned back to the thing and took its hand. The hot and clammy skin made me feel sick. It pulled me in close, the heavy sheets surrounding me, until I was in a whirling tornado of white. Where had the thing gone? Had there been a thing at all? And clear! An arm lunged out of the rags and drove a dagger into my chest. The world flashed back into life with the sound of the heart monitor, the weight of the bed sheets on my legs, and a voice. "He's back." The end.